coming to our first progress review. My name is Carson Rock. I'm an entrepreneurship and accounting junior from Edmond, Oklahoma.
I'm Jared Hooker. I'm an economics junior from McKinney, Texas.
Hello, my name is Samantha. I'm an international business and marketing major junior from Hong Kong.
I'm Curtis Nord, an engineering physics senior from Midwest City, Oklahoma.
And we're the Oklahoma Microfinance Fund team. We'd like to give a special thanks to the CCEW fellows and Sue Ringus for their help in producing this presentation. Entrepreneurs are the engine for growth in the American economy. Each year they help start 600,000 new businesses, and they account for over half of the private sector output in the United States. They also attribute over the last 15 years to 64% of the net new jobs created. It's clear that entrepreneurs make a big difference in the American economy and also in their respective communities. Unfortunately, many American communities never have the opportunity to harness the wealth that could have been generated from these companies that would have been started, but unfortunately could not be due to the lack of capital funding. Entrepreneurs face many challenges when accessing funding. Let's take a look at the lending landscape that they're up against. The lending landscape that lenders use is a combination of the height of the risk and the size of the loan. Traditional banks can finance low-risk loans that have small principal, like student credit cards, or large principals, like home loans for someone with good credit. For loans like a Silicon Valley startup that have high risk and a large principal, venture capital firms are able to fill this void. Unfortunately, for the high risk but small principal of micro loans that face many entrepreneurs, no one is able to fill this gap. This problem arises in part from the high cost associated with lending to entrepreneurs and processing a loan. Personnel expenses for processing loans on a $5,000 loan are similar to the loan cost of processing a $500,000 loan, and this in turn creates with a small upside with the smaller loans don't allow lenders to have the time to process microloans. OMF can fill this void and make a difference. Jared is going to tell us how we can do that.
Thanks, Carson. So as Carson said, let's take a look at how OMF can fill the void that currently exists in the lending landscape. The way we're going to fill this void is through our partnership, essentially. The Oklahoma Microfinance Fund is a joint venture between the University of Oklahoma and MetaFund, a nonprofit venture capital firm based in Oklahoma City. Through our partnership with the University of Oklahoma, we'll be able to leverage unique business development infrastructure and personnel at organizations like the Center for the Creation of Economic Wealth and the Price School of Business. In addition to these development skills, the University of Oklahoma will provide us with cost-effective interns, which will in turn help solve the problem of the high cost per loan of these microloans. These interns will work for a small stipend, but will also receive invaluable real-world experience vetting loans and seeing firsthand the entrepreneurial process. MetaFund, in addition to its direction, funding, and experience, will help solve the problem of the small upside on these microloans by allowing OMF to borrow and fund via its unique loan structure. So let's take a closer look at this unique loan structure and see how it will help us face this problem of small upside. Like a traditional loan, OMF loans will have a component of interest. However, in combination with interest, we'll also use royalties. These royalty agreements will be a small percentage off the top of the gross revenue of one of these businesses, usually between 4 and 6% for the life of the business. Let's compare this with how banks currently operate to see how OMF solves the problem. Under traditional banking structure, a bank has a maximum loss of 100% of the loan. Of course, usually it will be less than this due to their collateral. However, they also have a maximum upside due to the maximum amount of interest they're allowed to charge. This means that entrepreneurs whose risk profiles may warrant a higher interest rate than this simply cannot get funding, so that an interest-only loan structure ensures that only relatively low-risk ventures can get funded. Let's see how OMF compares to this. Like a bank, OMF is limited in its downside to only 100% of the loan. Once again, it will probably be less due to the collateralization. And similar to a bank, there's a maximum interest rate that OMF can charge before it's prohibitively high, and no entrepreneur can afford the payments. However, to break this barrier, we will implement the royalty structure defined previously, so that if a business succeeds, the small percentage on their revenue, as their revenue grows, will soon eclipse the small interest rate, so that we can break the barrier that banks currently have and lend to these high-risk, small principal entrepreneurs. So as you can see, through our partnerships and our unique loan structure, we hope to build a sustainable Oklahoma microfinance fund. However, we understand that partnerships and a unique loan structure alone cannot create a sustainable infrastructure by itself. For this reason, we have 3 other components that we'll need to expound upon. The first is an effective marketing campaign. To make up for the fact that these loans will be small, we have to compensate by increasing our volume through effective marketing campaigns and getting as many applicants as we can. After we get these applicants, we need to ensure that we have a standardized and efficient loan process to deal with these microloans so that we are as efficient as possible. Finally, we need to ensure some level of continuity between classes of interns so that the high overturn rate between 1-year internships can be made up for, and we can have an institutional transfer of knowledge from one generation of interns to the next. So Sam's going to expound on this first component, marketing.
So how do we take OMF in action? Let's start with marketing. We have adopted an intensive marketing strategy in order to reach all the promising entrepreneurs in Oklahoma. We focus on 4 target groups, which are banks, universities, governmental department, and also development organization. These target groups, they have frequent interaction with small business owners and also entrepreneurs. So by fostering our relationship with them, it can help us to increase the likelihood of reaching out potential clients. For banks, we hope to get referral on the applicants that may not suitable for a standard business loan. And for university, we also hope to reach young entrepreneurs who may like to start their own businesses. And for government and also development organization, we hope to connect with the entrepreneurs in the local community. The method we use include face-to-face meeting, phone promotion. Also, we have developed our own specialized flyers and also website as our marketing tools. So far, we have already achieved a significant progress. We have spoken to 4 bank executives, contacted 20 branches, and also 3 universities, 8 chambers of commerce, and also 5 small business development centers. So now with our effective marketing strategy, we have already 7 applications in our pipeline. 2 of them we received them just today. So what do we do afterward? Once a client reaches us, we'll start our application process that contains 4 stages. The first stage is initial screening. So when they approach us, we'll have them fill out a 1-page introductory application form that we developed. This form provides us the background information of the clients and also the nature of the business. We will also initiate a conference call with the clients during this period. So based on the information provided, we'll decide if we would like to move on to the next stage, which is to request a full application from the clients. A full application contains business plan, performer, and also other core supporting documents. A special service that we may choose to provide is business plan development. So this is also what makes OMF unique, because a lot of clients, they may not have intensive or extensive business experiences previously. So, and then when they go to a bank may not have the time or resources to guide them through the business plan development process. So we will be able to provide personal guidance to our clients. Also, in the meantime, we'll conduct a due diligence process that contain maybe we will contact the industry experts, and also we will verify the claims and financials of the clients. So based on the analysis conducted in the stage 2 and 3, we'll decide if we would like to recommend this loan to MetaFund. If we think the loan is viable, we'll then prepare a credit memo and then prepare a final pitch, and then pitch to MetaFund. And MetaFund will hold a final decision on loan approval. So now we have 1 loan that is undergoing the initial screening process, and also 3 loans that is in the due diligence phase. Now Curtis will walk you through a real example and show you how the whole process works.
Thank you, Tim. The loan that we're going to be looking at is a video production company. This company specializes in doing video outsourcing and also training for businesses that are looking to teach their employees how to produce their own videos. The client is looking for a loan of $25,000 for video equipment. He currently has 1 set of video equipment, and if that was to have downtime, that would result in lost business. For his initial screening, he submitted a business plan and pro forma to us. We reviewed these documents and decided that we'd like to meet with the client and answer some questions. During this meeting, we added value by making suggested improvements to his business plan. And also, since we had a basic business plan, we began to work on the due diligence process and asked him some questions and got feedback on issues we had with it. And then, since we were interested enough in his application, that we requested a full application from him. The next step is he's going to begin collecting the full application documents, and then after we receive those, we're going to begin the due diligence process. But this is just one loan, and this is just our OMF class. The question is, how do we continue doing this to future classes of OMF interns? Well, this continuity will be maintained through standardization and in training. The first step is an internship selection process, which includes active recruiting. For example, this semester, we're piggybacking on CCEW's application process. An intern interested in applying for an OMF internship position can check a box and apply for it. We've also identified that we'd like a staggered internship system. What this means is whenever we have intern turnover, only part of our OMF interns are leaving. That way we always have experienced interns at hand at OMF to lower the learning curve and help new interns to learn how to vet loans. After an intern is selected, they then begin working with our training manual. This training manual has some basics on the sources of funding and some basic ideas on what you perform due diligence. But we've identified that additions need to be made. One of the important additions is a dynamic FAQ section. This FAQ section will allow, when an intern has a question and finds an intern answer for it and thinks it could be useful to any potential interns in the future, they can add it to the dynamic FAQ section, and this is a way to build institutional knowledge. And in addition, the training manual has currently not worked on any loans, so we've been preparing case studies on loans that we ourselves have been vetting this semester, and the purpose of this is to work interns through loans and explain to them the process of how to vet loans. So once they're done with this training manual, they begin to work with a loan rubric. This loan rubric is basically an empty framework that they fill out when they begin vetting loans. This is meant to guide them and also work as a checklist so they don't forget any information. And it serves a dual role, and it's an excellent summary of loans for another intern to quickly review and get an idea of what a loan entails. After this, we have a loan processing sheet. This is a way to track where a loan is in our pipeline so we can effectively handle this and make sure we're doing our part to the client. And then this aids us in transferring all of our current pipeline to the future classes of interns. And this together provides continuity. So now that we discussed how we're going to continue OMF in the future, next is Carson to explain our next steps.
Thanks, Curtis. It's clear that OMF has made great strides in the development of the organization thus far. We've been able to create a layout for what this program is actually going to look like. We've also been able to start our marketing strategy, which we're already seeing the benefits that are going to fill up our pipeline and allow us to have loans to process throughout the semester. We've also standardized this process for the individual loans. As they move through our pipeline, how we'll address each situation and handle everything. We're learning as we go, but it's something that we've been able to develop a little bit so far. We've also created an internal management for our documents. We know how we're going to address each client and how we're going to carry them through each step of our loan process. The next things that we have to do are generate sustainability scenarios. We have to understand how OMF won't just last this semester and maybe next semester, but for years to come as a self-sustainable microfinance fund. Also, we want to continue our marketing strategies to contact entrepreneurs and government and reach out to more universities across the state and other business development centers so that our pipeline never dries up. We'll always be able to work with fresh new entrepreneurs and ideas. We want to determine the business development role of OMF and how much value add we actually want to do in terms of business development. Currently, most lenders don't have the ability to add any kind of input as far as how your business plan looks and tips like that. It's either a consulting or it's a lender, not a merge of both. And we're still trying to flesh out how much we want to be in each of those areas. We also want to incorporate our training documents for the next class of interns so that they're really effective and they come in prepared to the semester, knowing how to go through the whole due diligence process of a loan, what our marketing strategy looks like, and how we can have all of these processes work together so that they're very prepared and subject matter experts for the Oklahoma Microfinance Fund. With that, we'd like to open it up to questions from the floor.